Hey, ASLE folks. It's good to see all of you, even if it's on Zoom. I miss seeing you all in person, sending you all virtual hugs. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Janine DeBase. I teach at the State University of New York, College of Environmental Science and Forestry, and that's in Syracuse, New York. I am the author of this book of poetry, Body Language. It's a book of ecofeminist poetry. I use the pronouns she, her, although they, them is fine as well. And so today I'll be reading two poems from this anthology, Poetics for the More Than Human World. This is my special visual effect. So this first poem describes the neighborhood where I lived 20 years ago. And it's a little village that hasn't changed much over my lifetime. It's where I grew up. But there's a hill nearby, which the village is dominated by this huge pharmaceutical company. So you know how in the book Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, people who live near the chocolate factory come out of their homes and can smell chocolate. Well, when I was growing up, there were certain days when you came out of your homes and you could smell penicillin. And so that's the setting for this poem. It's called Inside My Head. Every year after trucks come through our neighborhood, spraying pesticides onto lawns, I find dead songbirds who escaped too late to my yard. I never understood this need to kill weeds and wildflowers. In childhood, I sat on our lawn to pick dandelion greens for my father, his favorite salad. When the plant bloomed and the leaves turned bitter, my sisters and I wove the yellow flowers into necklaces. Now, in early spring, a migraine slug creeps into my brain, sprinting gray matter until I vomit. When I open my kitchen window, I smell penicillin from the smokestacks of the pharmaceutical company next door. I want to move, but no one will buy my house. Chemists say that toxins creep through milk and cheese, stew inside cans and bottles, drift from smokestacks to poison me slowly, exploding in my brain until I can't stand the sound of my children's voices. Biologists say that mammals pass toxins onto their children. Firstborn dolphins die from the ingestion of a lifetime of toxins from their mother's body. This explains why I never got migraines when I was breastfeeding. I feed my kids organic vegetables and grains. I try herbs, feverfew and ginger root and danqui, but still the headaches persist. I can change what I eat, but not what I breathe. Toxins touch all of us, my kids, my neighbors, and the songbirds that nest in my lilacs. And I have a sad footnote to that poem. I did move away from the neighborhood, away from the smokestacks, and that did help my migraines. My oldest sister and her husband still lived in that village where we had grown up, and in their 50s they both died of cancer, one of breast cancer and one of lymphoma. And yeah, that's the thing about environmental poetry. It's not very upbeat. So this next poem, also from the anthology, takes place outside of Chicago, where my husband and I were vacationing. On the shore of Lake Michigan, there's a national seashore called Indiana Dunes. And it's beautiful. Sand dunes and lake waves crashing on the beach and hiking trails. But at night, if you're on the beach, in the evening, if you look in one direction, you see the city of Chicago. If you look in the other direction, you see Gary, Indiana, which is dominated mostly by smokestacks. So my husband and I were there one evening with we had 4 small kids, and there was a young couple there with a baby having a holiday picture taken. It's called Seventh Generation. Dangling a baby, they pose on this broken curve of beach that lies east of Gary. They have rich tans, blonde hair, teeth the color of foam. The photographer pushes his tripod hard into sand, his back to the stacks that breathe thick dragon smoke. I turn to admire the holiday picture, the cropped scene. But my children run through, chasing waves that brush evening sun onto sand. They stomp puddles to scatter glisten. I can't stop them or keep up with them. The wind erases my voice as they run faster and faster. At the end of the beach loom the smokestacks, a sunlit haze. Seagulls swoop above the shore edge of seaweed and litter. The young woman squints at the silhouette of my children running into that yellow industrial smudge. Smile, the photographer says to her. Smile.